Alright, here we are making another video of this. So we're tore into the engine. We got the injectors and everything off. Over here I'm going to show you where they sit. So this is what we call the lower intake manifold. See if I get some more light on this thing. So this is what we call the lower intake manifold. That over there is the upper intake manifold that normally sits on top. Camera won't focus on it. But this is the lower intake manifold, and you could see, set it down so I could hold the phone with both hands. You can see, I don't know how well you can see. There we go. You can see how dirty it is. The fuel injectors sit in these holes. 1, 2, 3. And then obviously over here on this side, 1, 2, 3. You got your bolts. You got your gasket, rubber gasket in there that's got to pop out. If I flip it over, show you the bottom side, you can see where the injectors come through, direct injectors into the port. And you see your bottom seals, your baffling. So this is your lower intake. It's got clips that clip into the back there. The inside of this needs to be I don't think you can see that well in there. With a better camera maybe, but it's dirty in there. It needs to be cleaned up. In the daytime you'll probably be able to see it better. Anyways, I've decided to hold off on the valve covers because I want to get the belly of it done first. And I like to get that done so nothing falls in there, and then do the valve covers. What I've run into here is something that's making me want to stop and not put this back together. Let me show you what it is. Okay, so this is the oil filter. And down in there, you see all the leaking. I don't know how well this camera really does it justice. That's all covered in oil down in there. This is like a cooler for the oil. It's like an oil cooler. And you got all sorts of stuff plugged into it here. Oil pressure switch, it looks like. Oil temp sensor, probably. And then you got a hose. And it's hard to get this crappy little camera to show you what I'm trying to show you. Yeah, it's just, you're not going to be able to see it good. The oil's running all the way down the transmission. This oil cooler appears to be leaking, and then the oil is filling up this bottom belly and going down that way, and then dripping down the sides of the transmission. And this oil cooler needs to come out and get new gaskets, get cleaned, and get put back together. The problem is, you know, labor is labor. It's time consuming. And the problem with it is that, I mean, I'm not even done taking all that apart in there. The oil filter has to come out, oil cooler. You're working in a tight area. You're crawling up in here to work on this. It's back-breaking, uncomfortable positions. Long story short, that needs to come out and get new seals and gaskets and go right back in. Get all cleaned up so it doesn't leak. What exactly are those seals and gaskets? The only way to know is to take it all out. But once you take it all out, you're past the point of no return. Now you're committed. And where do we even get those seals and gaskets and O-rings? Like, those ain't always something you just go to O'Reilly's and get. Sometimes you go to the dealership, ask for that stuff in a special order. You know, so now you're going online and waiting for it to arrive. You know, you want this truck back to go to work on Monday. Tomorrow, Sunday, Super Bowl. You ain't getting these parts nowhere. So, you know, I put it back. You're leaking oil everywhere. You're buying expensive AMS oil. You don't want these leaks. Especially a leak like that buried in there. So, you know, this is something important you want to fix. But like I said, it's not a fun job. And it's a matter of getting the parts and continuing to take this apart, finding the right parts, all that stuff. So, yeah, not cool. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to cover this up with a towel. I'm going to move forward and do the valve covers because they need to be done anyways. Put the coils back in and do the valve covers. And then come back to this. It's disturbing, you know. You don't want to sound like the mechanic that's like, oh, we got something else. Oh, we got something else. But it's like, how do you not tell a customer about this? You know, how do you be the kind of mechanic also to just know that that's leaking from there? Put this lower intake, upper intake, fuel injectors, everything back on and just pretend like it's all good when it's not. Have gone through all the trouble of cleaning the transmission and knowing that this is going to drip down and keep getting that transmission covered in oil again. So it's something that, as much of a bummer as it is, you know, you're already this far into it, might as well fix it. 177,000 miles, you know, that oil cooler being buried in there, I think that's a bad design. And then with the mileage on top of that being buried in there, all the heat and everything, those seals on the bottom of that have to be cooked and leaking out. So that's where we're at, man. And then once I remove that hose on the backside there, who knows how easy that hose is going to come off, if it's going to need to be replaced, you know. It's just like, oh man, don't want to do it, but it so needs to be done. It's like you're leaking oil pretty badly. This is one of those where you wish the customer was actually here. You wish he would jump up in here and really physically look down there, because these cameras don't do it justice. But, you know, at least we make a video and we send it to him and see what he has to say. In the meantime, I'm going to do these valve covers, and I'm not going to put the intakes back. I'm going to go to bed and wait to hear from him tomorrow and go from there. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll do another video. Again, we're going to do the valve covers. We've already put the spark plugs in it and call it a night. We'll keep y'all posted on the next video, let you know what happens. Have a good night.